It is once again June because the days keep coming and they don't stop coming, but that means it's time for the second and now hopefully annual Highland Brawl 2024. Hey guys, it's Ryan, and this week we're going to give an overview of the upcoming tournament in Scotland, Stirling, Scotland. I'll be going again and I'm really looking forward to it. So time to go over the missions, what I'm taking, and what I think I need to prepare for the tournament on Saturday. To know what I need to bring, I need to know what I'm playing, and it's a one-day event, so only 3 rounds. Round 1 is supplies, 2 is extraction, and 3 is a custom mission called the Brawl. Supplies and extraction are very similar fetch and retrieve style missions, and the Brawl is an armory kill and button control mission. The split seems sort of obvious, but the way Civ Evac interacts with fire teams and how I like my close quarters lists, I think with my ideal opponents, I'm going to split my list for Brawl and supplies, and then my second list for extraction. But if you're new or curious about what each mission is and what do I need, both lists wise and accessory wise, then I'll break it down. Supplies is one of the most played ITS missions after Resilience Ops and B-Pong this season. It is the archetypical Infinity mission in my opinion. You need to do something in the midfield, tussle with your opponent, and get away. It balances speed, aggression, and defense. Scoring wise, it's pretty simple. Whoever has the most boxes of the 3 at the end of the game wins. This is also coupled with 2 classifieds to do. I do think I have a good list for this mission. I've played it a lot, and Military Orders has great skirmishers and bulky specialists. This basically sums up what I'm going to rely on for the mission, and going Knight heavy should be good enough unless my opponent is going all in on control like Bakunin, Mutt heavy Hack Islam, or Combined Army. The Knight heavy list will allow me to suitably hold any boxes I can get and keep ground in the midfield while allowing box carriers to retreat to maintain my box count. I do want to have an option to push hard in case my opponent grabs a box and I can get it off them. Trends and a Montesa should be able to handle that. Models and tactics aside, I will need to bring a couple of pieces to actually play the mission. 1, I need a HVT, and that will be my Tyrock Hunter. I love that model. 2, I will need some supply box tokens because I currently lack any, and I would like some rather than to hope my opponent has some. I will probably print some tokens off by the time you're viewing this video. And finally, I will also need a QAZ creature, but that's fine. I will use one of my many Warhammer skinks. They look fiendish enough. Evacuation is in a similar way to supplies in that you need to push into the midfield, steal something and run away, but there's a lot of extra steps that change it up drastically. Because of the focus on getting enemy HVTs, of which there are 2 and 5 neutral civilians, and running them to one of 2 evacuation consoles, it is, as you quite imagine, fairly order intensive and is basically 2 different roles required to score at least 1 point. We need fast specialists and we need those who aren't impetuous or in a fire team, which are few and far between. But we do have the Knight of Montesa, and I think that will be my go-to. I think I will basically use him to follow Rod Shepherd's advice to get 5 points as quickly as possible, then immediately break my opponent's lists back, which with only 1 classified is going to be tough. I think my goal will to be immediately force heads down with my big guns and play the mission the best I can, hopefully doing it turn 1 or turn 2, then spend turn 2 and 3 killing my opponent and generally hampering them. With the Civ Evac rules, I'll have to look elsewhere, as my go-to of a maneuver harass won't work, and we'll have to lean on solo and duo pieces more. The Knight of Montesa will need to be non-impetuous, and an escort sergeant will need to be used to pick up the easy HVTs next to my drop zone. But I think I have a trick up my sleeve, which will be my second fast piece, the Teak Balang. The Teak Balang will be able to pick up civilians, but it won't be able to extract them unless I pop them out the pilot or hand over to another specialist. Now, you might be thinking, right, that first part is no-go because they are REM, and while yes, that won't let me declare the Civ Evac skill, it's not a written cancellation state. so I can pop out taking the civilians with me thanks to that FAQ, and then evacuating them hoping I roll 11s. It's a bit of a last ditch plan, but it's an option. I think this will be a tough mission, but I think I have a plan. Govern wise, I need a few civilian markers as I literally have none and I have no guarantee my opponent will have any, so that's the big one. In terms of my 2 HVTs, I have my tie rock counter and I will use my aero cam as my second HVT. Other than that, I think I'm good to go. The final mission is a custom one simply titled The Brawl. A version of it is on the Bromad mission repository. I'll link to that, I can't remember the name, but I'll link to it in the comments below. This is a bit of a spread focusing on pressing more buttons at the end of the game worth 2 points, dominating the central room, 1 per round, getting the central button first, 1 point, 2 classifieds for 2 points, and 2 points for killing more points in the armory room. Interesting, but very spread out. I think this makes going fast similar to supplies rather than evacuation, which is why I think I want my supplies list here. I think this is a going second style of mission, particularly with the end of game buttons, killing and dominating the armory zone. I should be able to hold the box with a litany of knights, and equally I have a series of tools to dig things out from the box, ranging from escort sergeants to harass-linked knights. Good news is that I don't need much in terms of tokens, just something to mark the consoles that are in fact mine. Anything else can be tracked with a notepad. Before I get on to models, I wanted to talk about what my expectations are for the tournament, because if you've seen my channel before, I'm not the most competitive player, but this is a tournament I look forward to, so as always, I want to enjoy myself. I want to have some close games, and I do actually want to win and do well. So yeah, I'm going to go for the win, but I don't want to win at all costs, given I don't know how experienced my opponents might be, and they are just maybe there for a good time. Nothing saying I can't be competitive and have a good time, just know your audience. I have about 21 models here between 2 lists and not including 2 HVTs and the 5 civilians I need. We have a lot of big bases here, so I'm hoping for some good drop zones, or I'm going non-Euclidean. So you can see how I've laid them out in vague groups. First, my 2 cores, which I won't exactly reveal how the list will be split just in case I change my mind, but for the core of the core is an Order Sergeant Hacker, which is unpainted, my Paramedic Crozier represented by a Sword Crozier and a random Mook Crozier. Then I will have options to finish the core out with either a Blackfriar Heavy Rocket Launcher, Teutonic Knight Missile Launcher for ARO, then my Lieutenant, which could be a Knight Commander, or another Teutonic Knight. I also have a Curator which can be popped in as needed for when I bring my tag, and always remember, do not leave home without a tag and an engineer. A perfect segue into my main piece of the Teak Malang, and I seriously considered bringing the Serf either version, but I wanted old reliable, so I'm bringing my nicely painted new Teak Malang. My other core pieces shouldn't be a surprise either if you followed the channel. It's my Knight Hospitaller Harris, though last year I was sans model for them. I have recently picked them up in a sale on Wayland, so I will have them built but unpainted, which to be honest is fine. Last time I had them all painted but some proxies. Now I will have no proxies but not all painted. Finally, the Knight of Santiago, who will accompany them for a well-rounded Harris. For secondary and support pieces, we will have the Billetier, Knight of Montesca, and an Escort Sergeant. Finally, I have my Trinitarian, which will be portrayed by a Shujay, which I think is a wonderful sculpt. And finally is the last gaggle of support units like Bots, the Raven Eye Officer, and Tech Bees. So as I previously mentioned, I'm going to need a few bits and bobs for the mission in order to play them, and these are the sort of stuff you need if you're looking to play in person, and if you want to find out more, check out the video in the corner. First up is the classified deck, the newer one with this box if you're looking to grab it. I only need the classified deck, not the 2 Resolve decks. I'm glad I picked up as soon as I could. It's basically a requirement for the game. It also means that if someone doesn't have it, we don't need to bum one from another table, and I can get them to take a photo and then I can do it and keep my cards properly. This will be needed. All 3 rounds have classified points, so I need enough to get wins. Next important bits are the tokens, and mine are basic but enough. I have Fireteam status camo tokens, although these are, as you can see, largely paper and cardboard, and some MicroArt Studios, which I'm a big fan of. I don't have everything, but I can use the tokens I do have to do a lot, such as the possession status tokens to show I hold an objective. My goal is to pick up some more tokens, but I have limited hobby money and chances to do this at this time. I will probably stick with MicroArt Studio for a lot of my tokens because I am really happy with the quality for them, and I could do with more, and hell, maybe even a command panel. My widgets are a story of two halves. The measuring stuff I have, the tape measure and zone of control stuff, are great, and I really recommend this style of widget. One side is 8 inches, 2 on another, 3 on the last. It's got a silhouette 2 marker and a 3mm hole to check line of fire. It's really packed. It's a fantastic piece of kit that as soon as I saw it, I wanted it immediately, and I would immediately recommend it on to newer players. It just speeds up movement drastically. My blast and impact templates, however, are paper and card and are crap, and it turns out I think they're too small, so hopefully by the time you're seeing this video I will have some new ones. It's a pain to find out, but I did make them myself to save a quick buck, but it looks like the ones on Corvus Belli's resources are slightly too small and are not quite the 8.2 inches and 10.6 inches I thought they were. Fortunately, now that I'm recording this, I do in fact have some new ones. They're from Bandu, which is the same as my acrylic measuring widget, so I'm expecting good quality here. Overall, I have everything I need in some form and should be able to get 3 good games in. So that was a video on basically all my prep for the Highland Brawl in like a week's time. Expect a video like in a month talking about the results. Not sure what shape that will take, but it will probably happen. Anyway, like and subscribe for that, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.